Are we
All right,
there?
so yeah, we're here now.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah,
You okay?
yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay, Colin. How's it going?
It's all good. I'm very, very good.
Yeah, good to
I'm
have
getting
you, Colin.
a bit bored doing the same things, but it is what we're all in the same boat, aren't we?
So I hope it was easier for you to connect this time.
Yeah, I'm sorted now. I'm away.
Yeah, so we have a couple of people online already. Um, I see the president of Football Intermediaries Association of Nigeria. His name is Ayodele Thomas. He's right here with us. He has joined us already. I see a couple of guys as well. Shuffle Select. I see a couple of guys from the United States. So we've got quite a number of people looking forward to this session, Colin. So everybody is waiting till 5, but we have a number of people already.
Yeah, no problem. I'm ready when you are. You fire the questions and I'll do my best.
Yeah, sure. So just to prep up, just to be sure that we're good and that we're good to go. We've all been looking forward to this session, and we hope that it's going to be quite enlightening. Of course, I am sure.
Yeah, we'll see what questions are, and we'll answer them the best we can.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we kick starts in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So for the guys that are here, I'll just tell you a little about Colin. Colin is a master. He's a master teacher.
I will go that far. I get my point across.
And he's also a master storyteller as well. Every story that Colin shares sticks. Trust me. Every story Colin shares sticks. And that's the great example that we'll be looking forward to. Yeah, so I've got my questions ready, and I'm sure everybody have got their questions ready. Yeah, this is Ayodele Thomas. Okay, yeah. I already introduced you to Colin as well. Some agents are going to be joining us. Okay, someone says I'm a female footballer. That's okay. You're welcome, Miss Sola. CI_Miss Sola. You're welcome. We hope that you get what you're looking for. We hope that you find the resource that you're looking for in this session. Shuffle Select, nice to have you. Blizzy, Tobias, thanks guys for joining. Aware, thanks for joining. Stico Pizzo, thank you. And it would also be nice if you can tell us where you're joining from, right? If you're joining from the UK, from America, from India, from China, let us know. Just so we're sure. Okay, John, nice to have you here. John Idaho. OJB is in the building. Yeah, OJB he's a journalist. He's based in France. Hi, John. John, how you doing? John, tell us where you're connecting from. So OJB is a journalist in France. He's written quite a number of articles that have, from Paris, he says. Yeah. Victor Zarena, thank you. Oyi's Cocktails and Chops. Second DE. Aware, he says it's from Nigeria. Yeah. Diallo 14. Diallo, you're welcome. Okay. He says from Nigeria, female footballer. That's okay. Okay. See, Mesola says from Moscow. Yeah.
We're getting worldwide, aren't we?
Sorry?
We're getting worldwide.
Yeah, that's it. This is an international conference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an international conference. So someone says the football coach from Nigeria. Next Gen Football Services joined. Next Gen, tell us where you're joining from. It's officially 5 o'clock now. It's 5 p.m. already. And we'll just shoot straight away. Hello, Next Gen. So, Colin, yeah, we have Steve Berko. Steve, we have Pocato Digital. Nice to have you guys. Okay, I'll just allow you on sometime last week, on Friday specifically. Hey, we have St. Boye here. Boye guy is with us now. Next Gen, okay, is also a player intermediary based in Nigeria. So on Friday we had a session with Sheyi Olofejano, who is currently the loans and pathway manager at Wolverhampton. So we are all looking forward to an enlightening session with Colin. Colin, I'll allow you just give us a little bit of introduction about yourself. Tell us a little bit of your playing career. Tell us a little bit of your coaching, if you did any, and then also let us in on what you do currently.
Okay. Well, at the moment, I'm the director, or one of the directors of IPSO, International Professional Scouting Organisation. I've been a scout for 20 years, you know, usually working around the Premier League and Championship with various clubs from Charlton to Bolton to Middlesbrough. I've done a little bit with Northern Ireland. Football-wise, I only played amateur football, then I played a little bit of semi-professional football. I did a couple of my coaching badges, etc., etc. And then I got into scouting, where that's what I specialise in. And scouting is my field of what I like to think of expertise, and I love what I do.
Okay, so we know you're the president, or you're the founder of IPSO. That is International Professional Scouting Organization. We want you to tell us, share a little bit of your profile. How did you begin your scouting career? How did you begin? What was the starting point for you?
Well, I was very lucky, to be honest. It's a good story. I was fortunate enough to bump into a guy called Edward Davis. His name's Ted, and I hope Ted is watching this now somewhere. And what Ted did, Ted was a guy who spotted my scouting talents, and he took me to Charlton Athletic. So he took me to Charlton Athletic, and basically a little bit like Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid. I'm Karate Kid, he's Mr. Miyagi. And he taught me all the ropes of scouting, but it was the courses of IPSO, to be honest, are built around his development of me as a scout, how he trained me. And it's a fantastic way, with his methodology, with his style, with his experience. A scout that was second to none. He's probably forgot more than I know. And took me under his wing, and he trained me up. And the rest is history. I've been in the field, in the game for 20 years. We've built IPSO through the way he's trained me, and you know, it's all been successful. And that's how I got into it. So I was very, very lucky.
Interesting, quite interesting. So when you started your career as a scout, as a football scout, was there any challenge? Was there anything at the top of your mind that you thought would have been a problem, or anything that you thought would have been an hindrance for you?
Yeah, well, when you're starting off and you've only played amateur and semi-professional football, you think you're a little bit behind the big boys, you know. And you know, when you go into professional football, everybody's an ex-player or ex-coach, etc., etc. And you think they're way beyond you with their experience, and in many ways they are. But if you're dedicated and you want to learn, you can pick it up and you can catch them up. But it's just about how much you want it and want to learn. And I've got to be honest, I really wanted to. I fell in love with scouting. I just get a buzz from something. Like we all get a buzz in different things. I got a buzz from looking at players and seeing, you know, assessing a player and saying he's going to make it, etc., etc. And that's how, when you look at these people who are a lot higher than you and more knowledgeable than you can soon catch them up if you're prepared to dig deep, work hard, go to games every day. I did, do 2 or 3 reports a day, and I did. You know, I was at a match every day because I fell in love with it, and it was a passion more than a hobby.
Interesting. So, you mean scouting is more like a passion beyond an hobby?
For me, at the beginning, it was more of a passion and a hobby. The money, I wasn't really interested in money, to be fair. I knew that, well, the truth was, I wanted to get into scouting because I thought when I'm an old man, if I could have a job like that, when I'm retired, just going to watch kids' games, what a good thing to do for, you know, there with me walking stick and little pen and paper, just taking notes. I'd love it. So I branched into it, got my head around it, and then once you get into something like that, you know, you speak to any experienced scout who's done it for a long time, and you get a buzz for things. Like a coach gets a buzz for coaching, like a manager gets a buzz for managing a team. My buzz is out of scouting, and that's my forte, and that's where I am at.
Interesting. So, I mean, tell us. For me, before I'm a student of IPSO, right?
Yeah, you've done the courses.
Yeah, I took the talent identification course, and then I got someone who asked me, Amos, he sent me a message without even seeing our banners or anything that we're trying to bring you on. So he asked me, Amos, I saw this IPSO thing. I saw you did IPSO and all. Would you recommend IPSO? I'm like, okay, let me not say anything right now. Join us today at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, and then you decide for yourself, right? Because I have seen it and I have taken the course. So for someone who is starting, right, who doesn't have an idea what this is all about, because the idea is a lot of people are thinking, what are the career opportunities? Who exactly is a scout?
Yeah.
Who is a scout?
Right.
And what exactly is their job? Is the job of a scout?
A scout is one of the guys, or girls now, one of the guys who go looking for players for the club that they're working for, whether it's one of the big boys or whether it's one of the small boys. But the sort of people who go out there, talent spotting is a good word to start with, because you are spotting talent. But when you get into it deeply and you start to look at players and you start to fancy a few players who you'd like to take to your club, it's not talent spotting. It becomes scouting. Talent spotting is like if I went into a bar, karaoke bar, and I'm no specialist in karaoke, right? But if I go into a bar and I hear a good singer, my ears will prick up and I'll go, hey, he's good or she's good. That's talent spotting. And I've said this on the course, you know, if my daughter is upstairs, you know, she's 17 years of age, she hates football. But if she came to a match, she would probably say, oh, he's good because he's the fastest. Oh, he's good because he's the most skillful. Oh, he's good because he's physically the strongest. And it's things like that, that is talent spotting, not scouting. You need a starting point, and talent spotting is a starting point.
Interesting. So this takes me to my next question. Now we are familiar with people who go and watch young players, who go to watch organized scouting programs. So I'm bringing this down home to Nigeria now. A lot of people organize scouting games. A lot of people organize talent hunts and the likes. What exactly do scouts look for? What exactly are they looking for now? Because you just mentioned talent spotting, right? What is the difference, right? What are these guys looking for exactly?
Well, the difference is talent spotting is spotting the best player at that moment in time. It's spotting somebody who's done something magical, something special, something more than other players. They might not repeat it again. You know, they may just have a one good game. They may score a hat trick, and then they'll never score a hat trick again. It could hit the shoulder, the knee, etc. to go in. And talent spotting is saying on that day that player did well. But it doesn't mean to say he's a good player. There's many a time I've been to a game and I've recommended a player off one game at the beginning of my career. I go, wow, he's great, he's going to be brilliant. He just had one of those games where everything connected. And then you watch the next 3 or 4 games and then you realise, hang on a minute, he's not as good as I thought he was. That's scouting. That's the difference between talent ID and scouting. When you're just looking at spotting talent spotting, which is what we're talking about, you're talking over one game, over half an hour, over 10 minutes. That's the problem with coaches. They'll come to a match, they'll look at a player and they go, oh, I don't like him because he got beat twice in 2 tackles. Or, oh, I don't like him because he missed 2 shots. On another game, he comes to the next match, he scores 2 goals in 2 minutes. Wow, this guy's interesting. Yeah, he's interesting. We're not saying he's a good one. We're saying he's interesting. It's the follow-up where you're the detective, where you go and follow the player and you start to get into his character. You start to see what he's like with the other players. You start to see what he's like with the manager, with the coach. You start to see what he's like when he's losing, when they're winning. When they're winning 5-0 or getting beat 5-0, you start to see a different player. You're looking for players that when you're in the trenches in war, You want them to be at the side of you. You're looking for the character. There's so many things you're looking for, but but number one, they've got to be able to play a little bit. You need a starting point. Then you're looking for, if you do fetch a player to the club, do they look like they can pick things up? Do they look like they could be coached? Some players can't be coached. Some of the players, are fantastic superstar players, natural, but they can't be coached. And if they can't be coached and they're not going to listen to instruction, and if you don't tell your boss as a scout that, your boss is going to come back to you and say, this guy's no good. He doesn't listen to a word I say.
Mm.
That's scouting. It's a detective. It's coming back with every little detail. And this is why our coaches, as you know, Amos, are attention to detail, which we leave no stone unturned. We make sure we cover everything so that when we recommend a player, it's the right player, not a guess, not a gamble. It's covering every angle.
Interesting. So thank you, Colin. So I'm ideally, how many times do I have to watch a player to be sure that the player is good and recommendable to a club? How many times?
I would say the rule of thumb with most professional scouts that I know, we usually look at the player 3 times. Okay. Now I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. Just bear with me. Rule of thumb is 3 games. That's the answer. Sometimes it might take 5 games or 6 games. Sometimes you can tell off 1 game that the player's a player, but you back it up by 2 or 3 other games and statistics to make sure that what you saw with your eyes was correct. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So most scouts are being mistaken for agents. Honestly, for me, it was same thing for me when I started. I didn't realize that being a scout is not the same as being an agent, right? What's the job of an agent? What's the job of a scout? Okay. And I listened to, Colin, so I'm going to say something now. So I was listening to an agent last night, and he mentioned something about everything begins with scouting. Mm-hmm. I was dazed. And I'm like, what's this man saying? I just kept my question, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask Colin this question. So, Colin, here you go.
Okay. Well, everything begins with scouting. How can you be an agent of a player if you've not scouted the player? First of all, the player has to be good. What's the point of you having him? So you've got to find out if he's good. And to find out if he's any good, you've got to go out and scout. It's like fishing. You don't know how big the fish you're going to catch until you pull the fish out and whether it's worth taking home or throwing back in. You've got to scout before you say, hey, look at this fish or look at this player. Yeah, I can do something with this. Yeah, that's what it's. Every agent needs to scout. I can't recommend our course enough for agents. The first thing you see when you see an agent and they talk to you, the first thing they ask a scout every time I meet one, wait, what's your opinion of this player? What's your opinion of that player? What's your opinion? They're asking their opinion because they want to reassure themselves. They want to reassure themselves that they've got the right player or the wrong player, or they want to reassure themselves that the player that they've got needs improving in certain areas or doesn't need improving, or what level the player that they've got is at. It's all about their player, which is correct because it's their player. That's their job. But if they knew how to scout, they wouldn't have to ask me that question. It would be part and parcel of their job. Yeah. Many people said to me, Colin, why don't you become an agent? You'd make a great agent because you can scout. You can spot a lot of players. Yeah. I'd never be interested in being an agent because it's a different thing. Agents look after players. Agents look after players. They get them sponsorships. They get them trials. They get them into clubs. They get them out to clubs. They get them looked after. They get the best deals. They do everything they possibly can for that player. That's their job. If they've got the skill of a scout, then they could actually recommend the player where he could improve. If they could see, our scout could see that he lacks in certain qualities, and we're not talking about coaching points of views, we're talking about scouting points of views. If an agent could see what a scout could see, he could then turn around to the coach and just imagine I'm an agent and you're a coach and a manager of a club. I could turn around to you, and most agents will say this. I'll make it comical. Most agents will say, I've got this player He's like Messi and Ronaldo rolled into one. And that's exactly what most people do.
Yes.
Well, realistically, he should say, listen, I've got this player. He's like Messi and Ronaldo. He's got the ability of them, but he's a bit weak at tracking back and putting a foot in a tackle. If you can get that into his game, if you add that into his game, there's a player here. That would make a manager go, whoa, this lad's being honest. Not just bullying up their player of how good he is in everything he's good at. No, because nobody's perfect. Ronaldo and Messi's not. No player in the world's perfect. They've all got flaws.
Interesting. I see people already dropping questions. Okay, we're gonna take questions, right? Someone said, can I be a scout and an intermediary at the same time? Does it affect or confuse my career opportunities?
No, it depends how you go about it. I think you can. Why not? Why not? You know, go scouting for players, and then if you want to take them under your umbrella in your agency, nothing wrong with that. Because you can have players for your agency who you want to profit from and get into bigger and take a long way. But you could also be working for smaller clubs to benefit the smaller clubs having better players, just improving their team. You could give some advice.
Okay. I mean, a lot of people know agents, right? A lot of people know, Minora, Ola, everybody, all the top agents, right? They can mention the names, but people don't know scouts. Is scouting lucrative, Colin?
Lucrative, yeah, it is. Well, if you started thinking about just recently, Arsenal paid £1 million for the chief scout from, I think it was somewhere in Germany. I think it was Borussia Dortmund or something like that, or Leipzig or one of those teams. Arsenal paid £1 million, and then Leicester City famously, Steve Walsh went from Leicester City to Everton for a substantial amount of money, we believe. So it just shows you that scouts can be transferred like players.
Interesting. So are you saying scouts can also move from one club to another?
Proven. It's done. It's done. When a manager, if a manager, let's just imagine me, right? Just imagine I'm managing, I'll make this up, Preston North End. I'm managing Preston North End, and I'm doing well. And Preston North End get promoted to the Premier League, and all of a sudden, Liverpool come in because I've done really well. I go to Liverpool. The first thing I'm going to do, because I've been successful, is take my team with me, and I'll make sure I take the right people. And if the scout's really good, because he's got all these good players, I'll take him with me. And he'll double his money, treble his money, better things. And then 3 years down the line, I'm the manager of Liverpool. All of a sudden, I become England manager. This scout I'll take with me. And so you go with how good you are. People, if you're good at something, people notice it and recommend it, and they keep hold of it. This is why when they talk about backroom staffs moving at football clubs, you know, they move for a reason, because the manager's the god, the be all and end all. All these decisions matter, and depending on the manager is how far he will go back with his backroom staff, or what his deal is done with the club, with the chairman, who he could take with him. Because it's a big part of a manager. A manager now, you don't do it on your own now. There's too much to do for a manager. You need a first team coach, and you need a head of recruitment. You need a chief scout. You need academy scouts. You need every little thing. And to be honest, my advice, if there's any clubs out there, I would say this: in the old days, what they'd do is they'd send the experienced scouts to the first team games. Okay. And any trainee scout, like let's say you, Amos, you've just been doing it for 2 months, and they'd send you to the academy games, okay? Because you're looking at the kids.
Yeah.
That's wrong now. It should be the other way around, right? It should be you going to the first team games just to tell me what's happening out there, while I'm going looking at the younger players, because I've got a little bit more experience than you at this moment in time, and I might spot players where you might miss them, while the young teams are trying to get players younger and younger and younger. So realistically, instead of sending a young lad who's just found his way through university, and he's 22 years of age and he's in the club working, and he's going looking at these young players, I would send experienced scouts, because they're the golden nuggets and you can't afford to miss them. You get one of them right. Sancho's a perfect example. When Sancho went from Manchester City to Borussia Dortmund, it didn't surprise me. I would have paid 10 million. I would have paid 20. I would have paid 30 million. He was that good. it was a no-brainer. I don't know why the English teams didn't sign him, but that's another story. But it was a no-brainer that when he goes there, he's going to be worth 100 million in time. It's simple mathematics when you see a player that good.
Wow. Wow. So I see some guys. Let me just do a little bit of shout outs to Drew Wee. Drew Wee is in UK. He's based in the UK. He's a top agent and a brand ambassador as well. So I mean, there are lots of people that want their players paid. Colin, if I invite you to an event, a football match, so to speak, and then there are people who want their players to get paid, right? Have you ever had any experiences where someone tried to induce you to pick your player? I want you to share with us, Colin.
Well, yeah, but you can't name names for obvious reasons. You do get one or two people coming up to you asking you to bend the rules a little bit. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. But if there's anything about the scout and he's a professional, he will just let that go and just carry on doing his job. You can't recommend people for a little bit of something extra. You've got to do it with your heart, because the most important thing to a scout is his reputation. And if you recommend a player that's not good enough, you're going to embarrass yourself. And the minute you lose that expertise where people look at you because you do it inside out, you do it properly, you'd like to think you do, and you cover every angle, the minute you lose that, you lose your respect. You finish really in the game. So I've never done it. I have been approached, but that's, that happens everywhere, in every life, in every job in the world. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't do anything.
Interesting. Because I mean, a lot of people, you just hit the nail on the head. The reputation of the scout is very important.
Well, even if it's not a scout, the reputation of the agent, the reputation of the coach, the reputation of the manager, the reputation is everything. It's your CV.
So I'll take a question from someone. Awe Baba is in Nigeria. He says, I have seen some scouting matches without video recording. Are scouts not supposed to watch the match recordings to make better decisions?
Yeah, you can. If you can get the video, it helps. Obviously. But realistically, you better be in at the game. It's the modern era now. Everybody's watching games through video, okay, before they go look at a player. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. The only downside is you can't 100% clearly see that player, because, when the camera moves, the player's moved out of focus and so on. And you don't know if he did the right pass, if his positional play was right. There's lots you can't see. You can get the basics, and I mean basics. When he's one-on-one in midfield, he's going past someone, when he's putting a tackle, when he's heading, when he's shooting, when he's taking free kicks, you can see all them. That's okay. But there's a lot you can't see. And sometimes people on the ball, it's what they do off the ball that's more important than what they do on the ball. What they do on the ball, anybody in the world can see that. What they do off the ball is only a professional can.
Interesting. So I see someone who just joined us now. He's joining from Hong Kong. His name is Alex Akonde Tayo. Alex Akonde Tayo. I also see Awoni 18. Guys, please, you can send over your questions. Colin is right here to do justice to those questions. We're talking about scouting and what is most important. What's the similarity between scouting and agent, the job of an agent? Colin has made it clear that the reputation is very important, and then it's also lucrative. He mentioned we have Awoni. Is this Taiwo Awoni in the house? Okay, so he said, what they do on the ball and off the ball? Okay, this is not a question. So I mean, Colin has been able to make some similarities and then been able to draw a line between what the agent does and what the scout does. So someone said training clubs keep getting compensation as player moves and advance in his career. Can the scout that spotted him years before also get compensated as the player advances on the job?
Well, that's a very, very difficult one to answer, right? And I'll try to answer it the best I can. It depends which country you're in, where you are, it's like Wayne Rooney. If we picked on Wayne Rooney, you'll get the coach at Man United saying he spotted him, You'll get a coach at 14 saying he spotted him at 14. You'll get a coach at 12 saying he spotted him at 12. You'll get one at 10. You'll get one at 9. You'll get one at... How far back does it go?
Mm.
You get my drift? It
Yeah.
all depends on who's in the right position at the right time. When that player gets signed by the club from one scout's recommendation, that one scout should get that recommendation. But it doesn't work like that anymore. You know, it's not what people think. People think scouting is one scout's opinion. It's not. This is why they have a team of scouts. They have a group of scouts. So if they go looking at a player, they might recommend a player, but they might have looked at him 3 times each, the scouts. Depending on the club, you've got your Man United and you've got your Accrington Stanleys. You know, I mean that in the most respectful way. It's one's got a lot more money than the other. So the one with the most money can watch them a lot more times, have more scouts look at them. The one with a little bit of money can't do that because they haven't got the scouts. So if Man United might look at a player, and collectively, if 10 scouts look at him, 7 say sign, 3 say don't, they'll go off the majority. But which one of them is the one who said signing? They've all said signing. And the one who gets the glory is the chief scout. It's the chief scout who gets the glory, not the troops. It's like the general who doesn't fight the war, who sits on the hill on his horse. Yeah? But it's the troops who win the war. And, you know, the scouts who go out there looking for these players in non-league, like your Jamie Vardy's, you know, I'd like to know who the first scout at Leicester City was who spotted Jamie Vardy. Because that first scout who shouted him up is the one who should have got the recommendation.
I absolutely agree with you, Colin. So we've got someone, another top player in the house, Taiwo Awoniyi. Do you know Taiwo Awoniyi, Colin? Taiwo Awoniyi. He was signed by Liverpool, but he's on loan to Mainz now.
Yes, now, I've got you now.
So Taiwo Awoniyi is also with us, and then we've got a couple of agents as well. Someone said he's joining from 1 second. Let me just scroll a bit and look at where this person is from. From Krakow. Krakow. Yeah, someone is joining us from Krakow. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Please send your questions over, and then we'll have Colin do justice to those questions again. I mean, Colin, can you share with us one of those moments, one of those top players that you've scouted in your career? Can you share with us?
Well, there's been a couple. There's been a couple that stand out, you know. But listen, you could talk about hundreds, but I've scouted them. But it's not my recommendation that they've gone on to bigger and better things. It's like, I'll give you a couple of examples, a few examples. You know, when I saw Pogba at the age of 17, he was already at Manchester United. He was already there. That was just simple scouting. He was that good. He was stood out like a World Cup. Do you know what I mean? He was the Paul Pogba at 17 who was playing in the World Cup final for France and Juventus when he was playing so well. It was so obvious he was going to be a superstar. You know, what happened between Man United and Juventus and him moving on is up to them. But when you've seen a young kid as a player, it was a no-brainer. If everything goes to plan, that he will be a star player. We have a little bit of a problem now because attitude's a little bit strange at this moment in time with him. So we've got a few problems with him. But his attitude when he was 17 was first class. You know, you've got players like that. You know, and I just mentioned Sancho. You know, that was an easy one. You know, another one, Jamie Vardy. When I saw Vardy playing in non-league, you know, I was amazed that nobody picked him up. I actually recommended him after my second report. I didn't recommend him after my first report. I'd be stupid because he could have had a world. He could have had just one great game. But after my second report, I had to act fast because everybody was interested in him because his popularity was growing.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there's a story of Robert Lewandowski. When I saw Robert Lewandowski when he was 20 in Poland playing for Lech Poznan, you know, he didn't have a great game. He hardly got a kick. But I've seen something about him that I put in my report. We need to follow up and have another look as soon as possible because he's got something as a young player. That's not saying that I recommended him. That's me reporting on these big star names now. You know, there's 100 players like that. And I'm sure there's a lot of scouts who've got very, very similar stories. You know, there's stories where I've seen players and it's been the opposite. I remember seeing Frank Lampard, you know, and I'm going to criticise myself and I'll make it comical. I remember seeing Frank Lampard when he was 17, 18, and I thought, it's nothing special. But he wasn't in this game. He was very ordinary. He would go on the radar. You know, and then, you know, if you go back to Pogba now, when he's playing for Man United, 8 months ago, very ordinary, not the Pogba that we know, because he's playing within himself. Now, that's a problem for scouts. And this is why you've got to see a player 3, 4, 5 times sometimes to get the score. So, you know, even, you know, there's been a lot of players where I've said, oh, he's not good enough. But on my second and third game, I've changed my opinion totally. Because on that day that I saw him play, he might have had a fallout with his girlfriend. His mother and father could have died. There's lots of things could happen in that one game. You know, and I see these scouts say, I can see a player in one game. No scout in the world can see a player in one game. That would be ludicrous. You can spot talent. You can spot talent in a game. Easy. It's just like me spotting talent in that karaoke bar with Simon Cowell. I could do that. It doesn't mean to say I'm a good scout. You'd have to follow up and follow up. This is what people are not grasping. It's the follow-up to the next game, which is scouting. Yeah? Not the one-off talent spot. And that's the difference between an agent and a good agent. A poor agent will watch him once. I've got to get him. He's been so good. He's had 3 shots at goal. Blah, 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 blah. No. A good agent would step back and just slowly work their way into him to work it out. Otherwise, if they sign the player, they're stuck with the player who's a poor player.
Very true. Very true. Very true. So, guys, you've heard it. So Colin says you must watch a player beyond one time. Like you must watch him 3, 4, 5 times before you're able to judge what kind of a player he is. Anybody could have saw Pogba and say this guy is a bad player, right? Anybody could have saw Frank Lampard and say this guy is not good enough. I mean, now I want to bring this home, Colin. Have you had any contact with Nigerian players before? Have you had opportunity of scouting any Nigerian before?
No, not yet, because when I came to Nigeria last time, we had no live games to go to. But the next time we come, 100% we're having live games. You know, I listen, I know for a fact, and everybody around the world knows, there's loads of fantastic players in Nigeria, lots and lots. It's just getting there to watch them, and then it's the standard who's playing against who, which is difficult to assess. You know, I remember when I went to Poland the first time watching a game in Poland, and my first game in Poland, someone said to me, Colin, what's your opinion of the level? And for some reason, I lost my way a little bit, and I went, it's good. I'm watching the first division. I went, hey, not bad, not bad. And then when I've watched 5 games, my opinion had totally changed. It was just 2 teams playing well. And the standard was about league championship, the first game I saw. After 5 games, the standard was League 1, League 2, in my opinion, at the Polish football. So I totally changed. So off one game, what was really good, could you imagine if that one game would have been really bad? Then my opinion would have been, oh, it's rubbish football. Could you imagine going to watch Liverpool v Arsenal? You didn't know who the teams were, and it was one of those games where it's really bad and everybody misses the goals and there's no shots on target, and it's one of those boring games. You wouldn't say that's the Premier League. You'd say that's rubbish. You know,
so I'll go on, Colin.
I've been to Romania. I went to Bulgaria. I watched Bulgaria. I'm fortunate now with my job traveling the world. I watch Bulgarian football. I watch Chinese football. I watch Swedish football. Everywhere we go, I watch football. And I always try to compare the standards. But I can't off one game. I can off 3 or 4 or 5 games. You know, and the one that impressed me just recently was about 4 or 5 months ago. I was in Romania. And I was watching these teams and I went, whoa, these are good players. I could just tell, right? Because they were doing things faster, right? Like championship players, bottom end Premier League players. They look quality players. And then it was no surprise, Romania under 21s, and all these players I were looking were under 21 around that age. The Romanian under 21s had a really good championships. They got to the quarterfinals or semi-finals, and they beat England 4-2.
Yeah. So I'll take a question from Modo Victor. Modo Victor is a professional photographer, a professional sports photographer in Nigeria, and is quite popular. So he says, you probably have come across Nigerian players in their developmental stages in your career. What is your estimation of the pool of talents in Nigeria?
Well, if I'm being honest, I haven't. I've seen young boys, I've seen young guys at clubs, but I didn't always know they were from Nigeria. You know, they're from many different areas. So I'm still learning about Nigeria, if I'm being really honest.
But of course, you do know some of the players that have come out of Nigeria, like John Mikel Obi,
Yeah.
Austin Okocha. Which your best Nigerian player so far? Tell us.
Oh, I don't know. There's so many good ones. Top of my head, I thought it would be unfair to say. They're all good players.
So have you ever had any cause to watch maybe like a JJ Okocha or Mikel?
Yeah, I worked for Bolton, so he was at Bolton when I was working at Bolton. And again, obviously, JJ Okocha, fantastic player. You know what I mean? You know, superstar player. But he's the type of player you have to build a team around because he's flamboyant and he's very creative. You know what I mean? So you have to, because he's that sort of a player, you need more defensive players around him, you know, to balance the team a little bit more across the midfield.
So someone is asking, he's a coach, Coach Folabi Ojekunle from UK. He says, what's the role of a scout to players?
What is the role of a scout to players?
Yeah.
The role of a scout, it doesn't matter to players because we're nothing to do with the players. The role of a scout is to just go back to the managers and the head of recruitments and chief scouts and et cetera, and factually tell them what that player's abilities are. And then it's their job to decipher it and work out whether he's worth taking into the club, coaching in certain areas to improve him, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. Okay, so someone is here. One Marty UK cell. He says, "Do you like Istanbul?
Do I like
Have you
Istanbul?
been to Istanbul? Yeah,
I've been to Istanbul. I watched the game out there. Yeah.
So, what do you make of the Turkish football? Like, what do you think of kids from Turkey, players from Turkey?
Well, they're very skillful Turkish players. They're very skillful and they're very tough. You know, I've seen a few of them. But the game that I watched just recently was more of a friendly game, so it was difficult to assess. You know, but they were technically very good players.
Okay. So Andrea Govers says, "Hi guys, thanks for this live session. Question: what are the main components that go into your scouting reports? How do you evaluate at follow-ups?"
Sorry, I just missed that one.
So he says, what are the main components that go into your scouting reports? How do you evaluate at follow-ups?
Well, it'll probably be on the lines of this. Every club works in different ways, okay? And what I mean by that, you'll have different templates to go off from different clubs. So one club might want to look at the physical side of a player. One club might want to look at the technical side of a player. Like Barcelona will be looking at the technical side of a player. A physical player might be like Stoke City used to be or Wimbledon used to be. They'd look for that type of player. Different clubs look for different type of players to suit their systems, etc., etc.
Interesting. So someone is asking. He says, "Okay, I think you've answered this question before, but I'll take this one from Drill." He says, "What do you think of Tammy Abraham?"
I think I've watched Tammy Abraham since he was 18. Okay. Again, I have a report of him. I wish I could just pluck it out now. It's on my computer. And I said, again, it was a very Pogba situation. No brainer, he's going to be a star. Because he had all the components. And when we go back to the components, we'll cover that now, because that was the question. He had a great attitude. Obviously his physique was there, which is not as important as it used to be in this modern era. He had good pace, he had good touch, he had good control. He knew where the back of the net was. He was honest. It was his attitude and his honesty and his drive and determination, as well as his ability, that took him to where he'd gone. He had he went out on loan and proved himself, and he plays with a smile on his face. Have you ever noticed that? He never has aggression, you know what I mean, in the wrong way. He always has aggression in the right way, and he's doing very well. And it's no surprise, that he did well in the first season for Chelsea when they let him have a good run and he scored the goals for him. It's dried up a bit just at the latter end, but he had a good start. So yeah, he's a great player, massive future.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take one question again. Just Smile Sleazy says, she says, how can one become a scout? How can one become a scout?
Well, again, let's just make this up. If you're in, let's just make it up. Well, it's Nigeria. Okay, how does one become a scout in Nigeria? Right? You would first of all, you need to get qualified. You need to come on the courses. You go on our online course. Go on the online course. It lasts about an hour to 2 hours, depending on the student, how intelligent the student is, and it gives you the basics and fundamentals of scouting. It is an important part, you know. So you've got the groundwork done, and you know what the protocols of scouting are. Then you come onto the Talent ID course, which is looking at young players from the age of 6 to 16. Once you understand that side of scouting, because there's different levels of scouting, the 6 to 16 is like the academy, the young academy side. And then you come on to the first team, which is our level 1, which is looking at players from 16 upwards, you know, to 36 even. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what age, because they're all first team players. Again, that's a different kettle of fish. And then our last course is doing team assessments, match reporting, which is the hardest job in scouting. Once you've got all these qualifications, you know, you could go to a club and say, can I work for you? And whether the club has a lot of money or no money, you know what I mean? You could put yourself in there, throw yourself in the hat and wait for an opportunity, or recommend, ask the club if you could work with them for free to prove yourself.
Okay. Did you hear that? Just smiles, Lizzie. You could put yourself there and then work for free, just for a period, right? So someone says, when you go scouting, traveling, trying to spot talent in your city and beyond, who covers the bills? That is, does the club provide money for you to travel to see a game, or as a scout, you use your money?
Scouting, look, scouting is like any other job. It's all about money, because if you've got more money, you can scout. You can go further afield. Yeah. So, for example, you know, if you were, I'll give you some scenarios. If you're working for, let's use a simple championship club, okay, in England. So we'll pick a team like Blackburn Rovers, my own town's Blackburn. And if Blackburn Rovers wanted to look at some players around Europe, they wouldn't fly out there and waste money on flights and hotels. They would watch videos. They'd watch videos. And then when a player caught their eye, then they'd send a specialist out, one of their experienced scouts, to go out there and assess that player close up, to zoom in on the attention to detail that's needed to see if they would sign him. Now, if you looked at another championship club, and let's just imagine this championship club, imagine it's a team like Rotherham, all right? I know they're in the league below, but just imagine Rotherham get promoted, and Rotherham haven't got them finances. Rotherham then would have to do a lot more video analysis before they go looking and flying people here, there, and everywhere. But if this is a big, rich club like Leeds in the championship, they watch just a few videos and then send their guys out to watch them close up, because the bottom line is, you know, I've heard stories, people sign players from videos. It's not a wise thing to do. It's not a wise thing to do, because if you don't go and look at that player properly, you're going to miss it. There's a lot of things at that live game that you can't explain over a video, because you get the atmosphere of the game, you know, whether it's flat, whether it's hard, whether it's intense. You get the atmosphere of the players, whether they're up for it, whether they're not up for it. Because sometimes players can't play on their own. They need players to bounce off. Yeah. And if the players are not up on it, that player loses something from his game. Could you imagine David Silva playing for a team at the bottom of the Premier League, who's struggling? He wouldn't get on the ball. Think about it. But when you're at that game, you would see this and you would get the feel for it. You know, and I'm not trying to say, listen, we're going off gut feelings, we're going off experience. Well, it is going off experience, but that experience comes with watching lots and lots of games. That experience comes with going to watch live games and doing videos, and watching live games and doing videos, and then realizing, hang on a minute, these videos are fine, Y-Scout, Instats, etc., brilliant. But the reality is, you've got to see that player live.
Yeah. So I take a quick one. So I'm a scout. Can I work for more than one club? Can I work for Arsenal at the same time work for Manchester United? No, you can't. Simple. No, because it's a conflict of interest. So when you work for a club, you've got to be loyal.
because you're talking about secretive information. You know, you're talking about a multi-million-pound industry now, a multi-million-pound industry. So you cannot be working for Leeds one day, Liverpool the next day, because if you've got one player, you're trying to share in between, it's going to cause problems. This is why they want trained scouts who know what they're doing. When you work the ladder and you go to the top end, you mentioned it earlier, people said, you know, what sort of money do scouts earn, etc., etc. You know, is it lucrative, etc. It is at the top end, it's very lucrative. But at the bottom end, it's not. You know, you're lucky if you get a bit of petrol, you're lucky if you get a little bit of a retainer, you're lucky, you know, if you get a little bit of a wage, but you can, but it's up to you as a person, as a scout, to work hard and work your way up the ladder. The harder you work, the more you get out of it. I remember when I started, I was earning nothing with, you know, and then eventually I got £20. And then I remember getting £30. I remember this. And then I remember £100 one month, and I thought, wow, what a load of money this is. Wow. And then I remember getting £600 a month, and then the rest is history. I remember getting a full-time job, you know, with Bolton Wanderers, European Scout. Really, you know, I can't mention the money, but it was fantastic money. It was brilliant. You know, and all these fantasies, what you've got to make real by working hard. The harder you work, and the further up the ladder you get.
So that means you can't be a prostitute if you're working.
You said that.
You can't be a prostitute working for 2 clubs, man. Like you need to be loyal to one club.
It's going to cause yourself some problems.
Okay. Someone is asking again. He says, Shuffle Select says, how does social media impact a young talent, both negatively and positively?
Well, positively, you got yourself out there, social media. You got a video of yourself, right? That's the positive. You're out in people's eyes, and if you know your stuff in this job, and you are an experienced scout, and I see a video and I see a player do something that only certain types of players can do. Let's just say he does something special. I might follow that player up and go and have a look at another video, just off interest, to see if it weren't just a fluke, it weren't just lucky, right? But on the other side of the coin, if you put a video on of yourself and it's all your best bits, you're going to get someone like me turning around. Well, I'm not being funny. I can get a video of a guy in a pub game, an amateur game, you know what I mean? And put all his best bits together and make him look good. You know, these things, the last thing you should be doing, guys, is putting on your best bits. If you just go putting on your best bits, you're not showing us the flaws in you. No one's going to be interested because we don't know where we can, how we can coach you where you need improving. Because all you're doing is showing us your good bits. You need a little bit of good and bad. If the bad is not too much, we can fix it. If you're young enough where you're going to listen and learn, then we can fix it. But if you're just going on all the time, just showing your best bits, how you tricks and flicks and all this, it's not going to impress someone like us. You know, if you want to impress someone, send in video of a full match. A good scout will go through that, look at it, and he'll see your flaws in your game, and he might think the flaws are nothing. He might think they're pointless, they're meaningless, because they can be fixed easy.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody who's got his experience might think, oh no, he can't do this, he can't do that. But a good scout would know that the coaching system at the clubs have good coaches who can fix things very, very easily.
Okay, so someone is asking, Colin, can I take the level 1 training, that is IPSO level 1, before I take talent identification course?
Yeah.
Would it be detrimental?
You can take any course you want. You can go straight on to our level 2 if you want. Not a problem. Because we do get people ringing up and saying, well, I'm quite knowledgeable about scouting. I don't think I need to do your talent ID. I don't think I need to do your level 1. I just want to have the level 2. No problem. Come and do it. No problem. Everybody has different levels of quality. But this is the problem you're going to get. What you think is good scouting, and you know this, Amos, by coming on our course, what you think is good scouting and what we think is good scouting could be chalk and cheese.
Okay, so you just hit the social media. Now, someone asked a question, but I think you've answered it a bit. It says, how does a young player get the attention of a scout through social media? So can I get your attention via social media?
Yeah, well, not really. What you've got to do, look, I see these young lads putting videos on all the time on social media. There's a website called Football is Global. Go on to there, put your...
Can you say again?
Footballisglobal.com.
Football is global. Okay.
Go on to that website, upload your videos there, and there you might have a chance because all our scouts are on there looking. But when you're putting your videos on, don't just put your best bits. Try and put half an hour to 45 minutes of a game so we can see the good and the bad. Because what you think's bad might not be as bad as you think. And then players can have scouts, can have an idea about you. We can't honestly have an idea about you if you just show us your best bits.
Yeah.
You see all these freestylers. Think about these freestylers, these football jugglers, these freestylers. Why are they not playing for Barcelona and Real Madrid? Because they're fantastic at juggling, but I bet they can't tackle. I bet they can't track back. I bet they don't have no good positional play. Can you see what I'm trying to say? But they look unbelievable, don't they?
Unbelievable. I think you've answered the question, Colin. So I mean, if I take an IPSO course, let's reference some of your graduates, like some of the guys who have taken IPSO courses. Can you tell us where exactly are these guys now? What are they doing? Where are they?
We've had
their level of progress and everything.
Yeah, I remember a young 18-year-old coming on. I can't remember his name properly, but he came on the course early days, really early days. And I thought he was a bit young to be coming on, but it's good that he's hungry. And wow, he was good. He was good. And I could tell as soon as he wrote his report, he knew what he was doing. He's going to be, anyway, within the space of 6 weeks, 2 months, he's working for Birmingham City. Not just for the academy, he's in the first team scouting, which is fantastic. And he's still working today.
Wow.
And we've had a lot of guys get jobs straight after the course because they listen to what we say. You know, you don't just come on our courses, get a certificate, wave it in front of a football club and say, there you go, I'm a scout, I've got an IPSO certificate. The IPSO certificate it's like the FA certificate, it's like anybody else's certificate. It's just a piece of paper. What's going to get you a job is your CV, your reports. A good chief scout will read that report and know how good you are in your wording. And that takes time. That's practice. We're giving you, what we're doing at IPSO, we're giving you the tools. We're giving you the tools, as you know, Amos, to do the job properly. You've got to go away, practice, put it together, get it down in black and white. And then when you show that in front of the guy who knows his stuff, they're going to go, whoa, this guy knows his stuff as well. It's complementary each other.
So, Colin, guys, we might go a minute blank because once it's 1 hour, Instagram will take us off and then we'll have to come back again. So I trust that everybody will come back again, but let's just continue. So peradventure, it goes off, we might have to come back again. Like we'll just reconnect immediately, right? So so someone said, please ask Colin, what if you are a scout for Man United and you have a player that is very good, but not good enough for Manchester United, but can be very good for maybe a championship club in League One? What do you do?
Get in touch with it. What if you've got a player? Explain that again. I didn't get that clearly.
So if I am a scout for Manchester United and I've got a player that is very good but not good enough for Man U, right?
Right.
So what do I do with a player?
First of all, you go and approach your chief scout. Yeah. Approach your chief scout and say to your chief scout. So let's just imagine, Amos, you're my chief scout. I'm that young scout. I'd said to you, Amos, I've got this player.